This is the Bay and Tepe Perspective. I'm Brian Bay.
And I'm Greg Tepe. Welcome to our podcast.
And this week's perspective is on getting to know your hosts. Brian Bay edition, I guess.
The Brian Bay edition.
Yep.
This will be coming out the day after your birthday, or day before your birthday, the 5th.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we figured we would let you get to know one of your hosts, myself this time, and then we'll do Greg's near his birthday in November.
Yep.
So we figured that'd be a good opportunity to try to get to know
who
we are.
You're listening to.
Yeah. So for me, born, little biography, I guess, real quick. Born July 6, 1983, Cincinnati, Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
Born at the University of Cincinnati Hospital.
There you
go. Pretty much lived, I think, at that time in like the Price Hill, west side of Cincinnati area.
Okay.
You know, grew up on the west side generally. I mean, over the years moved around a lot, but all on the west side.
Right.
So, I guess, what should I do? Just go through my years, I guess?
Yeah, start with 1983. Just kidding.
Start with 1983. But, no, I mean, born in 83, you know. I don't remember, obviously, much.
Yeah.
I know. So we'll start with kindergarten, I guess, for school will be a good starting point.
Yeah. Let's say your school years.
My school years, yeah. So I was raised by my mom, single mother. Did have stepdads throughout the years. We'll touch on that at some point.
Right.
But biological father not really in the picture per se. So raised by my mom. Grandparents were, pretty big into it. My aunt, uncle, it was a family thing. But I was the first of all the grandkids.
Okay. The oldest.
So, the oldest, yeah. When I was born, there were no first cousins or brothers or sisters or anything of that nature.
Right.
Twas me. The first.
You were it.
I was it.
It was a simpler time.
Simpler time when I was getting spoiled on my own.
Yes.
But, so yeah, I guess I'll start with like kindergarten. I was 5, started at Euler Elementary.
Yeah.
Which is down like State Avenue-ish.
Yeah. Yep.
Don't know why they bust me there, but that's where they put me. I was only there a year, and then first and second grade I was at Westwood Elementary. But that was around the era of my first stepdad.
Okay.
Coming into the scene. Who then was the father of my half-brother Adam.
Okay.
Which is the one closest to me. That was around the time. He was born around the time I was around 8 years old.
Okay.
So what's that, like third grade-ish?
Yes.
Something,
so.
like third. I was like 5 in kindergarten, 6. So yes, around third grade-ish when he was born. So first and second, I went to Westwood. We lived in 2 different spots in Westwood. There was like a 2-family house, I remember, in like an apartment complex.
Yeah.
So I went there. Didn't really have many friends growing up because not living in the suburbs and being the oldest of the grandkids, if you will, with no cousins. So I was...
You didn't have the built-in friends.
No.
Like the siblings. And
the built-in, the ones that have to be your friends. So
right.
So I was kind of a loner. Use my imagination a lot. I think that's a lot like what helps me today with coming up with things.
Yeah.
Because you had to use your imagination to have fun and keep your sanity as a child, I guess.
Yeah.
But through school, I went through first and second at Westwood, and then 3rd through 6th was Midway Elementary, back when it was on Midway.
Yeah.
And then 7th and 8th grade was junior high at Dater Junior High, back when that was not a Montessori school, and it was a junior high school.
Yeah.
Failed 8th grade. So then 8th, 9th is when we moved to Delhi. And I went 8th and 9th at Delhi Junior High. And we were the last freshmen to be at junior high.
Yes.
We then rotated to... So then we were the last, sophomore class. So we came with a freshman class to Oak Hills.
Yeah. So I was a sophomore going into Oak Hills.
Yeah.
And you were the freshman class coming with us. Because
No, incorrect. I was a sophomore, and we had a freshman class coming with us.
Okay. I always get that. I always misremember that.
Yeah.
I'm a year ahead.
You're ahead of me because I failed 8th grade.
Right.
So,
and then I always forget the timetable of when
you
Oak Hills opened up.
You were the last sophomore class to come without a freshman class.
Right, that's what I'm getting at. Yes. I always forget when Oak Hills started bringing freshmen back.
Yes, that was when you were a junior.
Yeah,
I came in as a sophomore.
That's right. I forgot.
So I came in as a sophomore with a freshman class, and I went there till about halfway through my junior year.
Yeah.
And then we moved, and where we moved to was literally across the street of this side street we lived on would have been Oak Hills School District.
Yeah.
And I would have stayed in Oak Hills. But instead, they somehow, one way or another, found out I was not in Oak Hill School District anymore. So then I had to go to West High.
Right.
Western Hills High School. So I went there. Yeah. So I went there for my last couple of years.
Now, the funny thing is, before I even became friends with you, I remember seeing your face in the halls and whatnot at Oak Hills. Didn't know you. I just remembered your face when I did meet you. I'm like, oh, yeah, he went to or does go to Oak Hills. I don't know.
Yeah, like,
I've seen him.
Yeah, you looked familiar as well, and it was just such big classes. And then you were being upperclassman, if you will, from me.
Yeah.
It was, I didn't really pay much attention to you, nor did you me, I guess.
Right.
You know, so. But I do remember you. Like, I remembered you. But then, so that's my schooling years. I mean, like I said, I had my stepdad, which was Adam's dad. And then I had another stepdad. That's who I lived with in the Delhi era.
Right.
And that's Dominic's dad, my brother under him.
Okay.
And then my third stepdad, which is Joey's dad, whom is the youngest half-brother, if you will.
Okay.
So 3 little brothers, all half-brothers. But still, we just call it brothers because it's easier.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
That's what it is.
So, can't say I'm super close to them. Wish I was, I guess, at times. But it's just kind of how our family is. It's not saying we're not close, but we're just not that. We don't need to get together every Sunday for dinner and things like that.
Right.
We see each other during the holidays. We keep in touch, but we've just never been.
I don't know if I ever met any of your brothers except for maybe Adam. I feel like I met one of them way back.
I feel like Adam probably.
And maybe it's more than Adam, but Adam's the one that sticks out the most to me.
Because I think Adam was at my wedding.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So I think that's where you would have met him. The other ones I don't believe you would have met.
Okay, yeah, I don't recall them. I didn't even know Joey's name, I don't think.
Yeah, probably not.
So
yeah, and then you probably met my mom at the wedding as well. That's probably
I have met your mom.
That's probably like one time you kind of met my family, if you will.
Yes, I think it was of all times because not to fast forward about you, but when I met you, you were living on your own. So it wasn't like you're living with your mom or any family.
No, because so the era we met was post high school. You would start at college or were starting college, one or the other.
Yeah.
And that was our target days. I was just 18. I was dating the girl. We moved in together. Got an apartment. She got a job at Target first, then got me a job.
Yeah, because I actually knew her first.
Yeah, because obviously
Target.
we needed jobs to afford an apartment.
Correct.
So, like, long story short, with that, we had moved in with her grandpa.
Okay.
But then he finally decided he wanted to move to an assisted living facility because he was blind.
Oh, okay.
So it was easier for him at that age finally to just say, he's like, I want to go.
Yeah.
You know, partially for him, and I think partially so we could move our lives on because we were kind of, I wouldn't say he was very independent, but like.
Yeah, he probably felt like maybe.
Yeah, he didn't want to be a burden, if you will, even
yeah.
though he really wasn't, you know, but.
But you know how sometimes they think, older people think that. Like,
yeah, so he moved.
Yeah,
so he moved into his assisted living, whatever.
Okay.
So then we got an apartment, and that's basically where you met me.
Yeah. And I'll say that put it on the trajectory of us becoming friends, if you will.
Yeah.
So at this point, you have to get a job. You follow your girlfriend, and we meet each other at Target. I think at that point, I've been at Target maybe a year.
Yeah, you'd been there.
It wasn't very long, but it was obviously I was there first.
Yeah, you were there first, and I was the new guy.
Right.
And then I remember you helping me out with orientation questions.
Yep.
You're like, no, that's the wrong answer. And I look back, I'm like, and I click, and the computer is like, correct. I'm like, oh, okay, this dude's legit.
He's not messing with me.
He's not messing with me because you were security, so I was like, suspect.
Yeah.
Like, that's suspect.
I was one. I mean, I was one of the security. I was doing to get paid. I have no interest in being like I wasn't going to be a cop or anything. I just was told that I would get $1 raise and I didn't have to be a cashier anymore. So I'm like, bet.
Yep,
I'll do it.
I'm in for that.
Yeah, that's it. And like with that, so you remember how I helped you with the orientation. The thing that I remember about first becoming friends with you was I had to do a lap around the store before we closed. And I came by and said some smart ass comment like I normally do, like not mean, but just joking around.
Yeah.
And you said something about go and take my fake gold chains somewhere, but you weren't being mean either.
No, I was just coming back,
throwing it back at me, and it's like this guy. And then like it's pretty much a blur after that, as far as like
what moments were next.
Yeah, those moments were stuck out the most very early on, and then I just remember as far as early moments go, finding out like. We're basically fans of the same sports teams, which is weird because, like, the local teams isn't weird, obviously, local.
Yeah.
But, like, the one I remember the first, for me at least, and it could be maybe you remember differently, is the Lakers.
I feel like that's the first one as well.
Because they were in the finals.
Outside of local teams, at least.
Yeah, outside of local teams. They were in the finals around that era when we first became friends. And we both were big Kobe Bryant fans. So I was like, man, this guy, actually, like, I'm used to the hate coming. Like, all right.
Yeah. At that point, we knew we were both sports heads, so we were getting to know each other as friends at work, like work buddies, if you will. Someone to talk to while you're working to get through the day.
Yes. Which, side note, the ironic thing is my closest friends to this point in my life still are you and then two other guys. But we met at Target because of sports.
Because of sports, yeah. Now, I remember the Lakers moment because I remember you saying, like, it wasn't hesitantly because you were proud, but you were waiting to get shit. And you were like, well, yeah, I'm going for the Lakers. I'm a Lakers fan. I was like, me too.
Yeah, I'm like, what?
Yeah, and you're like, what? I'm like, yeah. And then it was like, I think within like a week, or right around that same time, I found out you were a Yankees fan also.
Yeah, I'm sure my guess is probably start kind of talking about other teams we like.
Well, I think the Yankees was you wore a hat.
Probably.
You were a big hat person, and I think you wore, maybe it was me that wore the hat because I was a big hat person then as well.
Yeah.
Because one of us had wore a hat, though. I don't know if I wore the hats to work too much, though.
Yeah. But if I was a betting man, I would bet on me just because I wear hats literally everywhere. But
I feel like you wore a Yankees hat, and I was like, Yankees too? And you're like, yeah. And I was like, me too? And you're like, what?
Did we just become best friends?
Yeah. Yes, we did.
Yeah, because I remember back to the Lakers fan, we used to mess with Demetria about it.
Yeah, because wasn't she dating someone on Portland or something?
Yeah,
but odd, but
I don't know if he was like legit. Like I think he's on the team, but not like
he was like the 13th man,
right?
In the bench. But
I remember we used to mess with her about it, and like I said, it was when we were winning the finals, and she would make fun of Shaq, and you're like, hey, I hate Shaq too.
Yeah, he just happens to be on my team.
Yeah, and it's like all this stuff, and like I remember. I don't know. I just remember them. I can't remember which finals it was at this point. We've been friends for over 20 years. But it was when they were doing their three-peat back in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
With the Shaq and Kobe Lakers, and I remember. I don't know how much longer after we became friends, but it was in the early years where you found that random Kobe Bryant bobblehead.
Yes.
That was worth a penny. Because it was like part of what it
was a giveaway with a GameCube game.
That's right.
But the games had sold out. And we had the bobblehead for like 4 or 5 months. I don't know how I don't know how we got more bobbleheads than we did games, but we did.
Yeah.
So
basically, you had to pay for it. It was 1 cent.
Yeah.
And it happened to be a night where we were both closing. And I think with your creativity that you mentioned from your childhood, you're like, let's play a game. Mind you, we're supposed to be working. He's manning,
for sure.
He's manning the electronic boat, and I'm making sure people are not shoplifting.
Yeah.
But it was a quiet night. And he's like, whoever has this in their possession, I think it was like 8 p.m., is the one that gets to buy it. And what we did is we'd hide it mostly up front, if I remember right, because I had to stay up front.
You didn't have much floating, yeah.
Yeah, so we just played the game. And
so I think it was like general, like maybe the offices or something, or I don't know exactly, mainly up front.
Yeah, like the frontish area even. Like
Food Avenue maybe.
Yeah.
There was odd spots, yeah.
Yeah, so we just played that game, and I lost.
Yeah.
The birthday boy for this episode. He won.
I won, so I got to buy it for the 1 cent.
Now, I could be totally misremembering, but after you bought it, didn't someone grab it all
they grabbed it and jacked up the package, yeah. At the time, our friend, who eventually, which I will throw out, became my future wife, future ex-wife.
So it was Julie.
It was Julie, yes. So she jacked it up, and I got butthurt. I'm like, what the hell?
You just won. Yeah, I don't know why that sticks in my head.
Yeah.
And I wasn't sure if it was something I made up, but it's something that stuck with me. Apparently, I didn't make it up.
No, yeah, jacked. I was like, what? The whole point was to collect it. It was a collector's item.
Right.
And fun story spin off of that. Down the road, she finally bought me another one.
I think I remember that, too.
Yeah, she found one on eBay or something.
Right.
When we actually start dating, married, all that era.
Yeah.
And she
that
actually
era
found
of your
one,
life?
Yeah, and she bought one I still have it. I have the one that's not in the package now because the package got messed up. Okay. And I have the one in the package still, so.
Okay.
Got the 2 Kobe Bryant bobbleheads.
Yeah, but I remember that, and we can go on forever with the Target day.
Oh,
but
yeah.
that was fun. So tie into your apartment, when we first started hanging out, I would come pick you up, and we'd go do whatever.
Yeah.
And I remember for a while there, we had a nice, tradition, or whatever you want to call it, where we would go to B-Dubs for Monday Night Football, which the B-Dubs, people that live here know this, is right around the corner from the old Target.
Yeah.
And you lived on Queen City, so that's close as well. I'll go down. I remember the one time, it was before texting was real heavy and all that. I worked the late shift, and you're just going to wait for me. And this is what I first learned, that if you fall asleep, you're not done. It's just cancel the plans. Mm-hmm. And I went down, walked into the apartment, knocked on the door, nothing. And like I said, it's pre-text, heavy texting. Yeah. And I was like, oh, what the hell? This dude won't wake up. Well, his keys were still in the doorknob. Yes. So I'm guessing his work has probably been hell this time. Yeah. He was exhausted and went to sleep. I remember I took his keys out, opened the door, and he had the chain lock at least on. I threw the keys in, and then I just left. And then I heard from you the next day, hey, thanks, man. And but it's funny because not to fast forward, that's happened many times since, as far as you falling asleep. Oh yeah. And I explained to our the new people, if you will, the new friends that came along, and you're not going to wake them up. I mean, you can try. A couple of years ago when we were on the bowling team, it was around the holidays. You were exhausted, passed out. Yeah. And it was just me and Brandon at the bowling alley. And he's like, I'm gonna go get him. And I'm like, he's like, should I go get him? I'm like, you can, but I bet you won't wake up. Yeah. I remember he came back to the bowling alley. He said he just looked in and he sees you passed out in the recliner, and I think Bentley was staring at him or something, your dog. Yeah. And he's just like, this dude. I'm like, I'm telling you. And I remember another time when, not to jump around, but when you were dating Katie, I believe, I was with her and Jordan, and we were all supposed to meet up, and they couldn't get a hold of you. I'm like, if he's asleep,
it's done.
It's done.
Yeah, and I've always been like that. I've always been a hard sleeper, even growing up. I remember as a kid, I have a story going back to, that was probably 3rd, 4th grade-ish, and it was the summer, so I remember that. It was summer or the weekend, one or the other. It was warm out, so it was either end of school or we were in summer break. Yeah. But I remember falling asleep. It had to have been summer, because I think I fell asleep on a Friday afternoon. Yeah. I was playing with my friend Paul, who I grew up. That was the one friend I had, because we were the first 2 to live in that apartment complex. Okay, yeah. So we became friends by fate, if you will. Right. By default.
He was a 4th sibling, but it's not blood related, really.
Yeah, basically. And but either way, I digress. As we were playing, and he had to go do something with his family. Mm-hmm. And he was like, "All right, man, I got to do something with my family, but I'll hit you up when I come back." And I'm like, "Okay, cool." So I was like, "I'm gonna take a nap anyway." So I went home and took a nap. Well, my mom, I guess, was out, and by the time she came home, it was past what my bedtime would have been. Yeah. And I woke up the next day. So I fell asleep at probably 3 p.m. Yeah. I woke up Saturday at 4 p.m. So I thought I slept an hour, and I thought it was still Friday. Wow. And I came out, and I was like, "What are you doing here? Aren't you supposed to be at work or something?" And she's like, "No, I don't work on Saturdays." I was like, "It's Friday." Yeah. And she's like, "No, it's Saturday." I was like, "Well, I went to sleep on Friday." Yeah. And she's like, "Yeah, Friday night." I was like, "No, I went to sleep on Friday at 3 p.m. And she's like, "Are you serious?" I was like, "Yeah, I was taking a nap, and I thought I took an hour nap."
That's like a mega nap.
Yeah, it was over 24 hours. And that's the first time, and many times in my life, I've slept for over 24 hours straight.
Damn, I don't know if I've ever done that.
I've done it several times. More than it's probably healthy, so there's probably something going on with that I probably should have got checked out. But if you know me, I'll throw out, I don't go to doctors.
Now, you just reminded me of the reverse. Do you remember back when we used to play basketball at Jeff Williams' driveway? Yeah. And I can't remember if you did it overnight or what. I don't know what you did. Or maybe it was when you're on flow team and you haven't slept in yeah. Basically, it was reversed. You haven't slept in 24 hours. And we came down and we played basketball, and you didn't know how you're doing it. And then I remember we went to the gas station down the street from my house, and it's when Pimp Juice came out, and you bought Pimp Juice.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that?
I remember that energy drink.
Yeah. I don't know. It just made me think of that because I've seen you do the opposite, basically.
Yeah, where I can also ride and be awake for over 24 hours.
Right.
That brings me to a Target story where I worked for over 24 hours straight.
I do know this story.
So it was rare that we got big visitors there, but someone was important was flying in from Minnesota where their headquarters is at. Right. VP or something, And I was working. I remember I got there at 6 o'clock in the morning on say it was a Monday or something. Yeah. And one of the managers said, "Hey, can you work over a little bit?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And I just kept trucking and getting things done. And then it was probably at the 12-hour mark, 6 p.m., she was like, "You can leave whenever you want." I was like, "I don't feel right. I don't think we're ready yet." And she's like, "Okay, well, I mean, you can stay as long as you want, right. But leave, when you want to leave." But it hit to the point, she's like, once you hit like a couple more hours, you got to take another lunch though.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And she finally came to me. She's like, "Are you gonna take a lunch? Or are you gonna leave?" I was like, "I'll take a lunch." So I tried, I'd take like a second lunch for legality reasons or whatever.
Yeah.
So I took my second lunch. I came back and it was like 10 o'clock at night when we closed. And she was like, I was like, "How long are you staying?" She's like, "I'm probably gonna stay all night." I was like, "All right, I'll stay with you."
Yeah.
I was like, "I'm done with all my electronic stuff. So what else do we need to do?" And she gave me a list and like. I remember some of the department heads coming in the next morning. They're like, "Man, you're here early." I was like, "No, I haven't left." And like, "What do you mean you haven't left?" I'm like, "Yeah, I've been here since 6 o'clock yesterday."
Yeah.
And they're like, 6 o'clock p.m. I'm like, "No, since like the morning. I never
AM.
left." They're like, when you guys left, I didn't leave.
Yeah,
I kept staying, and I'm still here.
That's a funny thing about you, by the way. Like, at least when we're young, you had that persona of, I'm trying to think of how to word it, because we're all like this as far as like, I don't know, like, I almost want to say, like, it seemed like we didn't care, but that's not the right word I'm looking for. But, like, you did the hard work when it was needed, but we also didn't come off as, like, the company man, or, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I always say we're like Allen Iverson. We didn't need practice, but when it came to the game, we got you.
you put in the work.
You're like, practice? Like, no, I'm not doing practice.
Yeah.
Practice.
Or
no.
these dumb policy, like the dumb
I'm not doing all
stuff.
that
Like,
stuff. I'm not doing all that. Yeah, we're rebels to an extent, like AI, like,
right.
Nah, I don't want to wear what the NBA wants me to wear. I don't want to do this. I want to do that. But then it's like,
like tucking your shirt.
like tucking my shirt. But then it was like, but I was also your dude when like something important was going down.
Right.
I got you.
Right.
I know, because I know when things, like, we know when things are important and we have to put in that work.
Or when it's bullshit.
Yeah. Then when it's real life, we got to get things done. I'm there I'll work 24 hours straight.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'll do what we have to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, even in, my current job days, I've worked 24 days straight before. Like, just trying to get things done.
Well, I was about to say, it carries over even to our careers now. Like I'm not going to stay later just because.
No.
But if it's something that needs to get done, I'll do it.
Yeah.
I'll do whatever it takes.
If you call me in on my off day, I'll come in, but we better have something going on.
Yeah, it better not be some stupid
nonsense. No, yeah. Like, I better be doing work, and you better be, you better have a list ready for me to get things done.
Right.
Because I'm going to get your list done, and I'm going to go home.
Now, to add to what you just said and what I was saying, I know other people saw you the real way. Like, whoever, I'm assuming, was it Jesse that you helped?
No, Andrea.
Okay. Oh, wow.
I know. You
Definitely would not guess her.
No, we did not always get along, but
Jesse saw the true you. Heather saw the true you.
Yeah.
Mark saw it from AP side.
Yeah.
Kevin from the AP side.
Yeah.
Like,
they seen the work ethic there.
you have the work ethic.
Yeah, it was just I wasn't always about the rules.
Right. I mean,
so
if you're listening, Brian actually does have work ethic. The people that know him personally in real life, he does have it.
Yeah, I do work hard.
Secret out.
Yeah,
people
I
know
will
now.
work hard, but it has to be for the right reason. Like,
yeah, we don't. I mean, like, I know
I'm not your 200% everyday guy.
Right. Well, I'll say, and not to make this episode is about you, but this is where I think we get along. One of the reasons we get along so well is I'm not going to do stuff just to do stuff. Like,
No.
don't give me some stupid
No.
This is just how we're going to do this just because. No.
Yeah.
Like,
Give me a
this is
good
our
reason
job.
and I'll get it done. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't like this dumb stuff.
I don't want to do the extra stuff either. I'm not big on extra. I'm not extracurricular activity guy in high school or anything.
Right.
Now, I will say, even going back to grade school through high school, I was never a big homework guy.
Yeah.
Because I was like, well, when I'm home,
It's home.
I'm home. I'm off. I don't want to do more school. I worked. I was at school for 6 hours or whatever it is. Like,
Yeah.
if any work you wanted me to get done should have been done in that time frame. If we can't get in that time frame, then I'm not going to do it.
Right.
Like, I was very bad at doing homework and very bad at doing projects. Like,
Now, I don't have kids, but I almost feel like I hear people that do have kids. That's kind of how it is now. They don't have as much homework. I could be wrong.
'cause it's
but I
kinda-
thought I heard they just do all of it at school now.
my opinion's always been nonsense. Like, I'm not going to do homework. Like,
Well, we grew, and again, I could be wrong, more biased towards our generation. I feel like we grew up in a generation where they just dumped homework on us. Like,
Yeah.
I remember my parents saying we didn't get that much homework when we were in school.
no. Well, the teachers didn't communicate. They were just all about their class. And I'm like,
I
dude, I
remember
got like
that.
8 hours of homework to do.
And I have 6 tests tomorrow.
Yeah.
They're like, well, my test is the most important. Like, that's what the other teacher said too.
Yeah.
I mean, come on now, help. And I will say I've had a couple because it was rare. So I remember it happening when it did because it was so rare that the teachers were actually cool and they're like, okay, since I heard that you have the big math test tomorrow, we'll do the history test. Let's do it
Thursday
next
or
Wednesday
something.
or something.
Yeah. Some of them would, but most of them know.
Most
Like, it's all
didn't,
about
yeah.
me. And that's just how it was set up then.
Yeah.
So, no, I was always rebellious in certain ways, but I was always the dude that would be there for you at the end of it all.
Right.
And I feel like I'm that way with my friends, too.
Yeah, you are known as that.
I might not be there for all the silly crap, but, like, if you need me. All right, I'm your dude. I'm your guy.
Well,
I might cuss at you, like, you dumbass.
I think it's funny with that.
Let's go.
That since I've been friends with you so long, that I'm your user manual.
Yeah.
Like when we have new friends that come to me, like, what's wrong with, or how do we handle this? I'm like, they never listen to me. Well, some of them probably do. No offense to the ones that do. Sorry, but most of you guys don't listen to me.
Yeah.
Or didn't. Maybe you do now. But like when maybe you're having a bad night. We'll call it that. He's having a bad night.
Yeah.
And it's like, what do you do? Like, just let him get it out.
Yeah, I got to work through it in my head. I got to,
Like all the times you quit bowling and we just find you right outside.
Yeah, and I come back in.
Yeah, just
that was my over-competitive. That's one thing about me too, is I'm over-competitive.
Yeah.
One of my biggest quotes to the day, and my mom bought me a T-shirt that happened to have it on, is winning is everything. That's why we keep score.
Yeah.
And that's still how I am.
Which I like that about you, because I don't like playing games just for fun.
No, it's not just a game.
Yeah.
Like
or
a lot
keeping
of
score.
Yeah, a lot of the people I've dated will say, "Oh, it's just a game." I'm like, no, it's not. Like, I play to win. Like, what do you mean? They're like, just have fun. I'm like, and when I win, I'll have fun.
Speaking of your competitiveness and all that, remember when we watched Ohio State? It was me, you,
I hated
Curtis,
that day so much. Yes,
and I think it was when you were with Julie.
Yeah, it was at her apartment.
Yeah, that's right. And it was a bowl game, and I think they lost towards the end of the game.
Yeah, no, it was a competitive game, and towards the end, it was.
You had your lucky bottle opener that played the Ohio State fight song. You got angry and threw it. You threw a fit. Let's be real. You did what we all did.
That's what I do. I throw a fit.
You threw a fit. And it started playing the music. I remember looking at Curtis and you, and then you couldn't even hold it together. They just start busting out laughing like, this is my life.
Because I think Curtis started laughing at first.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because I remember looking at him first, and he's like,
and then I hear you laughing. I'm like, God dang
I couldn't help. You're sitting there. You literally, like, for the people that can't see, like, he's sitting here with his arms crossed,
just pouting, man.
Yeah, pouting, and he throws it because I think Julie's probably saying it's just a game.
Yeah,
and it starts playing the fight song.
Yeah, it hit just right, and it's like, oh man,
it's like all you can do is laugh about it. But you're right. You're very competitive, which, like I said, that's one of the things I like about you, because early on, sports was one of the things that grew us together.
Yeah,
and we played a lot of games. Even if it was like made up games, like not traditional games, like we always played in a competitive way.
Well, I remember our first 21 game.
Yep.
Our rules weren't the same.
Yep.
And you're like, I won. I'm like, no, the hell you didn't. And you're like, yeah, I did. I'm like, no, the hell you didn't. Like,
right.
What do you mean you won? And I remember we were arguing over specifically.
I have no idea. I remember arguing on Harwinton.
Yeah.
We're on Harwinton.
But then you're like, okay, from now on we're establishing rules before we start.
And what do? We
establish rules before we start.
And we clarify.
Even if we've played that game together 1,000 times, we clarify the rules.
This is how we do it, right?
This is how we do it. This is what we're agreeing to? Okay, good.
And I do it with other people now because of that incident.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's good, though. I mean, it's good to be on the same page.
Oh, I think so.
Like,
I want to win the right way.
Yeah, and I don't mind adjusting my rules to their rules, but I need to know.
No, it's the whole house rules. I'm cool with house rules.
Yeah, house rules, but just let me know.
Does he know how my strategy?
I play this way, or I play that way. So I need to know my strategy. And
like an example that I'll use in present time is at work. We have ping pong tables, and I'll play ping pong. I play, by the way, the veterans that work there taught me how to play.
Yeah.
Well, every once in a while I play against my brother at my mom's.
Yeah.
And there's one rule that's slightly different. And the first time I was playing, since I've been playing at work, I'm like, oh, that's a point for me. And he's like, how?
Yeah.
And luckily at this point we're a lot older, so
yeah, so there's less arguing.
I was just like, oh, this is how we do it at work. He's like, oh, that's not how I'm like, okay, we can do it your way. I just need to know that.
Yeah.
And so like that's like, to me, I guess, is a random example is like, I just want to know what the actual rules are.
Yeah.
Which is one of the unique things about our friendship. One of the things that came out of our friendship is that based off your competitiveness, and then also I guess mine, but trying to keep it on you right now, is that we've established, like, even when we do it with other friends, like, all right, this is the rules. Then we reiterate sometimes.
Yeah.
But I mean, so like that was like early on, and at some point, as far as your competitiveness goes, we eventually joined sports leagues together.
We did, yeah.
The first one being basketball. We did basketball at the Western Hills Sports Mall.
Yep.
First time playing an organized sport together, because obviously we met when college age.
Yeah, so we were playing hoops a lot at the park and everything.
Yep, which led to famous incidents
with
your competitiveness the sports mall actually. But that was fun, and we kind of got away from that. So then we decided, I don't know if it was like the year after or a couple years after we tried flag football.
Yeah, it was a few years after. Because
That's what I thought.
Because all our basketball was like pre-Richard era in them.
Yes, it was. You're right. It was pre-Richard.
So like so once I went to start working at in the Lawrenceburg store, is when I met Richard, Danielle.
Man, that long ago. You're right.
Yeah, and Danielle, ironically enough, one of the girls I worked with, our editor in chief, if you will.
Yeah.
She who she's married to now, Mark. It was someone I already knew. I wouldn't say I was friends with at that time.
Yeah.
But he had been to my house. He had already torn my railing off. Westfest incident, yeah. There were some incidents, and he was basically a dude that would come over my house periodically to watch Bengals games, or I'd hang out. He was in the group of friends I knew.
He was in like our fantasy football. Like I knew him better because he was my neighbor in my apartment.
Yeah, you knew him better from that, and I just knew
of
him.
Nick and Brandon, who people you know now.
all my closest friends now, closer friends now that like then I kind of knew, but it was ironic that they started dating. Yeah, and I'll tell the story. I remember asking her, I was like, "So are you dating a guy named Mark?" I was like, "This is sounding weird, but you're dating a guy named Mark?" And she's like, "Well." Kinda. I think I was like, "Oh, so you guys broke up?" And she's like, "Well, no, I don't know. I think we're fighting." Yeah, I was like, "Okay."
Foot and mouth.
Yeah, I was like, "Well, foot and mouth," but I know that guy.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I saw, because that was back when Facebook told on you, said such and such in a relationship with such and such.
Yeah.
And I saw that, and I was like, looks like her, but I didn't know what her last name was. And at the time, she went by Danielle Rose on it, so I really didn't know.
Yeah.
I was like, "Is this you?" Basically, like she's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Okay, yeah, I know that guy."
Yeah.
She's like, "Oh, are you guys friends?" I was like, "Kinda." I was like, an acquaintance, more of a thing. But then that's when we started hanging out at B-Dubs again for Monday night, like 2.0.
Yep.
And we were hanging out, and that's when I started hanging out with Richard, Danielle, and Mark, and we became close friends. And then that group then got the flag football team together.
That's right. I'm just shocked at the gap. But as soon as you start saying that, I'm like, holy crap, you're right. Because we last played basketball before Nick Tuckbarber.
Yeah, before Nick Tuckbarber. So yeah.
Now, because I think that's why now I'm remembering. I ended up playing again. It was when you're married still.
Oh yeah.
I played with Nick.
So you played with him, and I
had like a year. It was like for a year we did it, or maybe even less than a year, because I had Nick and then some of our guys like John Dunn, Marcel.
Some of the guys you had, but mixed group.
It was a mixed group.
But I wasn't in on that.
Yeah, I forgot about that because we had some guy, one of Marcel's friends, join the team because we needed more bodies.
Yeah.
And he started trying to take over, and he wouldn't sub in, and we're all like, "Marcel, you got to tell him he can't do this." And I remember getting a text from, I think it was Antoine. I don't think Marcel texted me directly and saying basically that guy quit before he could kick him off the team. He said something like, "We can't play with us," or "We're garbage," or some nonsense. Yeah. You would have loved him.
He was
one
of
the
players that he thought he was better than the team.
Exactly, and he was garbage. He was garbage.
Yeah,
you would have loved him.
Yeah, I would not have dealt with that very well.
So yeah, that's where I got mixed up. But yeah, so like we did that, and then we got into old man stuff. So the first was not like anything official, but Richard threw together a cornhole league at Wes's parents' backyard, because I remember it was hotter than hell that summer. We did that, but it was fun. Yep. We had the ghetto lights to try to be able to see. Yeah, we played at night. So I think they were already in bowling league.
Yeah.
So we had to wait for them. Well, I still remember you asked me at the cornhole league if I want to try bowling league that fall.
Yeah.
Which basically is fall, winter, and spring. Mm-hmm. I was like, yeah, why not? So then we got into a bowling league.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah, it was fun while it lasted. We did that for a few years.
Yeah, I think we did it for 5. I think it was 5.
We never kept a full team though.
Nope.
We always lost players, so we had to recruit. But it was me, you, and I think Brandon were the 3 core that were always there.
Yeah, I'll say, wasn't Brandon on the original team?
I'm pretty sure
he
was on the original core. So I think us 3 were the original core, and then the other 2 people were like rotated.
Yeah, well, I think Brandon was, because we had Fat Brandon early on.
Yeah, we had him, and then he quit, and then
we had
Tall Joe.
Yeah.
And even the last year we had Jimmer and Nick.
Jimmer and Nick.
With Andy as an alternate.
Yeah, I forgot.
So
that was kind of our leagues.
Yeah. Which we did. Yeah, it was fun. I liked flag football too. I was on the line. I didn't think that would be a thing for me.
No.
I thought I was, too small.
Well,
even though I'm kind of a bigger guy now, but I still,
But yeah, it's still small. Now it's funny that you say that, because like I feel like if we would have played flag football when we were basically the same age as the rest of our team in the 20s.
Oh yeah, I definitely
We
would
would
have
play
been
like a skill. We played skill positions.
Yeah, I definitely would have been.
On the defense, I was linebacker on defensive side ball. Nothing I ever done.
No.
I would have tried to been. Actually, I was originally supposed to be quarterback for our team. But
Yeah.
I kept having elbow pain. So
Yeah, I
I'm like,
remember
damn it,
that.
I'm old.
See, I probably would have played secondary in my younger days because I always liked defense better.
Yeah.
I wasn't fast though, so that could have been a hindrance. You know, the positions I wanted to play, I couldn't always play.
Yeah.
But no, that was fun to get into leagues and like because I never really did leagues growing up.
Yeah.
I was real shy growing up, so I did do a summer camp once for basketball at St. Lawrence.
Yeah.
One of the local churches around here, and I didn't know anyone, and they clearly all knew each other, so it was kind of awkward for me.
Yeah. You're already losing because of that.
Yeah, so I only lasted one summer, but it was a good try. My grandma found it and got me into it.
Yeah.
Because I always played basketball like in her apartment, which she hated. But I had one of them, them Kroger balls. They sell them real bouncy ones that aren't basketballs. So I had it like a hoop that my aunt had got me. That was an indoor-outdoor deal. And then Fisher Price deals.
Yeah.
And I always play in there and shoot and shoot and shoot. So she finally tried to get me friends and get me into that,
Right.
Now, I did get friends in grade school when I did baseball, Little League Baseball.
Okay, yeah.
So that's when I really started getting like friends to go back on my history, if you will.
Yeah.
So I'd say probably, what was that, like 4th grade, I think it was, or maybe the summer between 3rd and 4th grade, I believe is when it happened. Somewhere in that area.
Yeah.
Or the summer between 4th and 5th, one of those two scenarios where that's when I started at least having those type of friends and hanging out and I had more expanded,
It kind of forced your social circle to grow. By
Yeah, because I mean, like I said, I didn't grow up in the suburbs. I didn't have cousins and all that. So, like, pretty much I had my friend Paul growing up.
Yeah.
And we were friends by default because we both lived in a place where we were the only 2 kids.
Right.
And we always say that, like, we were always good friends, but we feel like we probably wouldn't have floated towards each other in another social situation.
If you had more to choose from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, so I had that, but then I started hanging out with them. And then when I went to junior high, of course, I had the puberty got the best of me, acne and all that. And, I wasn't one of the cooler kids, I guess, at the time. I wasn't one of the most nerdy either. I was, like, in the middle always.
Yeah. It's almost like, is that, like, looking back on it, is that better or worse? Like, you're in the gray area.
Yeah, I was always in the gray area. I was never, like, one of the cool kids, per se, but I was never one of the ones that got bullied a lot.
And I can actually, I understand that because I was the same, basically on the same group as you. I was never, like, the cool popular, but I was never like the bullied or.
And a lot of it was hard for me because of moving schools. Like I've been to 3 elementary schools, like I said.
Yeah, that doesn't help.
2 junior highs and 2 high schools. Like that's a lot of schools. I mean, it's all on the west side.
Yeah, but still,
all on the west side of Cincinnati. That's a lot. And then also, then when you don't grow up in your preschool years and don't really have kids to interact with, I was just naturally became shy. Even I remember in kindergarten I had a couple friends, but I always kept that helped me keep my friends window tight though.
Yeah.
If you will.
This is weird to think. Like I understand because we talk about billions of times, but for people to understand that you're shy.
Like, yeah, because people just see me as outgoing, and I say that at work when I'm like, I'm actually shy, and people are like, oh, shut up. I'm like, no, like, literally, I was like deathly shy. Like, high school helped because I got adopted almost by like some friends there. I got pulled into a friend group, and I was like, cool, I'll stick with them. I got friends now.
Yeah.
So that helped when I went to Oak Hills at first. Because even in like junior high, Del High, I had a couple friends, but nothing wild. But when I went to, it was like in 10th grade, I ran into some, a guy named Sean.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And he kind of adopted me into his group and started introducing me to his friends. So I started hanging out with all of them, and that was great.
Right.
But then when I left that, I kind of hung out with some of them. Now going back to apartment, that's where Sean and a lot of them came back, reconnected.
Okay, yeah.
I was the first one in my high school group to have my own apartment.
Yeah, that's all right. That helps.
Yeah, and I was still in contact with them,
Yeah.
When I was like, hey, I got my own apartment. Y'all want to hang out? And we're like, hell yeah, we do. Because that was after I broke up with Jessica, who I lived with in the apartment.
Right.
So it was my own apartment at this point. And I was like, hey, come over and party. Let's,
Yep.
do what we do when you're in your early 20s, drink and whatnot.
I do have a story, by the way, about that.
Oh, go ahead.
Remember the party that me, you, and Chris Ward threw together?
Oh, the horrible party, yeah.
That we were late.
We were late to our own, yeah, and it was a flop of a party.
Yeah. It was a sausage fest, if you will.
Yep. But I think that was pre me hanging out with Sean and them again.
Oh, was it?
I think so.
Okay.
It was either pre or post, but I feel like it was pre. Well, I feel like he might have came to that if I had like a keg type party,
Yeah.
So I think that was pre. I think it was one of my early ons of trying to get like people to hang out at my apartment type thing.
Because I know that era was still when like we still hung out a decent amount, but it was like still so like new, if you will, where we weren't like.
No, I take that back because Ryan was there, so that was post.
Yeah, I remember Ryan was definitely.
So that was
there.
post me hanging out with all them. That's when I really started hanging out with you and all that.
Yeah, I was saying.
So so no, that's right. That was post because I still had my high school buddies for a few years.
Okay.
And then they kind of broke off for a little bit, and then I started hanging out with you guys more. At my apartment and wherever we were going. Our outings,
our drives around, with
drives
Chris Ward,
around
remember
with
that?
Chris Ward.
We just literally drive up and down Glenway and just listen to that mixtape.
Our Perkins meals and everything else.
Dude, Perkins.
Yeah.
What'd you used to order from Perkins? What were you known for?
Tremendous 12.
It makes me giggle every time we go over there. Usually, now mind you, we just finished playing a bunch of games of pool. Billiards,
and I was drinking.
And that's back when I didn't drink at all.
Yeah.
So Brian was doing all the drinking. I was doing the driving. Perfect match, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Perkins was across the street. We go. And it was at the time, it was the only place open 24/7 to get food. Steak and Shake might have been new at that point, but Perkins was our go-to.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember sitting there, and the waitress would come up, and I'd be like, I'll get my French toast or whatever I got.
Yeah.
And then she'd look at Brian and was like,
I want the Tremendous
which
12.
made me giggle. And then I giggled again when they bring the food out. It was like 4 plates.
Yep.
And I had my 1 plate.
Because I also opted for the pancakes because there was an option of pancakes or toast maybe or something like that.
Yeah.
I feel like that was the options. I was like, why would I want toast over pancakes? So
Right.
Definitely going pancakes. So I had pancakes, eggs. It was like 2 different kinds of meats. There was a lot going on.
Yeah, there was.
There was a lot going on. It was good though.
Yeah,
really
I miss
good.
Perkins.
And I miss playing pool now that you speak of that.
I know.
We play pool at Western Bowl, and we did that pretty regularly.
Yeah, that was fun.
Because I remember we would always try to get the jukebox going, but then sometimes the Hispanic fellas would take over.
Dude, they had put in like $50 worth
Yeah,
of
and they'd be
music.
playing and I was like, I don't mind the music, but I don't know what the hell they're saying because it's all in Spanish, and I don't know Spanish.
As we're leaving, all of a sudden, here comes Bone Thugs or whatever.
Yeah, here comes my song, yeah. Because that was like the, what do they call it? Music
choice?
Something like, no, it wasn't music choice. But it's basically, they have them now, but they have an app for it and everything
Yeah,
now.
I know there's an app now.
Yeah, where you can like bypass people and this and that. But that was the old school version of that. It was like a jukebox version.
Yeah.
And you could bypass people, but you had to be on that particular one, and you could pay extra on the machine to bypass.
Right.
And all that. And I never went to pay extra, but I just went to play my songs. That's where I wish it would have been an old school jukebox and it just played in order of when you paid.
Yeah, that's what, to me, that's how it should be.
Yeah, it'd be more fair. But I understand them making money because if they can charge you more and you pay.
Yeah, they want to get that
I get
money.
the business side of it. But either way, I digress. That was fun just to do that.
Yeah, that was fun.
Because also, speaking of playing by rules, we played by our own rules. Mm-hmm. We had other friends come and they don't want to play the real way. And we're like, yeah, we don't play that way.
Yeah.
Like, if a ball goes in, it counts. We don't care.
Yeah.
The only one that we couldn't knock in early was the 8-ball, basically.
Yeah.
And, and like...
I forget what that's called when you just play where
like
you don't
slop, I guess?
Yeah, slop.
Yeah. We don't care
We're
about
just,
that.
we're just having fun. Like, I'll play. I'm not scared to play the other way.
No,
it was easier for us to keep track that way. It's like...
Yeah.
It's weird because with us, sometimes we take things seriously with competition.
Yeah. And
other times it's like, no, I'm cool just playing slop.
Yeah, let's just play. We have our own way. Let's play for fun and da-da-da-da. And then... remember Dart League, too, we had here, which was fun.
I forgot about that.
Man,
league.
I went wire to wire for that.
Yeah, too bad you can't show your poster off.
Yep.
But that.
But no, that was fun. But yeah, I like competing. So to kind of recap myself again, I don't know where we've gotten off track a little bit.
Oh, because of competition. And
we
get
started talking about sports and everything.
Stuff.
But essentially, so growing up, I grew up on the west side, but travel, a lot of different schools. So not a lot of friends. But that's why I'm really close to my friends now, I think. I have that mentality of being real tight with my friends.
Yeah.
And
I think as you grow older too, you stop worrying. I mean, we're still weird. Both of us are with worrying about certain things, but a lot of that sheds away. Where you're like, I don't care. You like me or you don't.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yep. And I'm at the point I have the friends I have. So if anybody new comes along, they come along.
Yeah. It's happened. It's kind of weird to say. Like, it sounds weird saying it, but my point being is like, especially since me and you've been friends for 20 years, basically half our lives.
Yeah.
I can think of the different groups of friends we've had throughout.
There's friends we have currently that were like basically being born when we became friends.
Yeah.
Like your Andys and Jimmers of the world.
Which is
that are younger,
weird to me, but
yeah, but they're super cool guys.
Yeah.
So it's like, but you go through, I guess through your eras and everything, so. But I'm trying to think what else there is to say about me, really.
Any weird quirks about you?
Man, I'm sure there are.
Well, I'll say one that we share in
Do
common.
you know any?
Yeah, the one that we share in common. Because I'm not going to throw you under the bus, and it's something like crazy, but it's just the fact that we both hate making phone calls.
Oh, I hate that. Yeah, I hate making phone calls. Never been a fan of that.
And I'll just I'll be selfish for a minute and tie it in the fact that with our friendship, I think I only called you maybe once or twice ever.
Yeah.
And it was just a real quick where it wasn't like any anxiety, obviously, because it's you, or vice versa.
Yeah.
It was just like, hey, where you
outside.
at?
Yeah.
Or I'm outside.
I'm outside. Yeah. Because when we first started hanging out, it was like cell phones, but it was, like you said, pre-big texting.
Yeah.
I mean, I was still getting charged like 10 cents to send and 10
forgot
cents to
those.
receive and all that. Yeah. Like,
Remember they changed the rule to, so I was on Virgin Mobile with you.
Oh,
and then
yeah.
I switched shortly before you did. And right after, but in that window, they start charging for receiving texts. And you're like, people keep texting me, and I'm running out of money.
yeah, I have to finally like send out a text and be like, don't text me at all because I'm about to run out, but I want to, like, don't respond to this. But
Yeah, and someone would respond.
yeah.
Like, no.
Yep. There'd always be someone, but it'd be like, hopefully you get this. Because also we have sending problems and all kinds of
Oh,
issues.
that's
with
so
them.
bad.
And prepaid phones, but
Which reminds me of I don't know who you were talking to, female, but you texted
Oh,
this
my
perfect
God,
game to
yeah.
her. And
I had to send it 6 times. She's like, I got it. And I'm like, I said it didn't. It didn't send. Yeah. It was like blocking me. I'm like, geez, you make me look like an idiot.
like, well, I don't have a chance with her now.
Yeah. I'm like, no, I look desperate, but I wasn't. Like, it was just, I want to send that freaking text.
And when it cooperate,
Yeah, but it kept saying no. And I'm like, but it did send. So I'm like,
you sent it
Jesus
6
Christ,
times.
Yeah. Which cost me 60 cents.
But that, I mean,
You know?
yeah, that's the other thing. Cost you money too. But like, that's just one of the things I was thinking of, like with our character, if you will, or your character. I keep saying our because we are similar.
Yeah, we are very
But
similar with things.
As far
but-
as you go, like just on that aspect of your personality, if you will, or
Yeah.
maybe something that people don't know about you is you hate making phone calls or answering phone calls, if you will.
Yeah, I don't like anything to do with phone calls. I'll do it at work because it's my job, but I don't
But
like.
you're in a different mentality, right? When you're at
Yeah.
work,
Yeah. Yep, I get into work mode and it's different.
mode, Brian.
But yeah, I don't like making phone calls. I prefer texting, obviously. I don't know, like, I can't think of any quirks. Like,
I know that's the big one. I was thinking of. I feel like there's stuff that we've just complained about over the years that I felt like there's more, but I think it's just that and that you're actually shy, even though you're loudmouth.
shy. Most people consider me a diva.
I do,
That is and I can see it.
not for real, but
No, but I can see it.
I like to
It's
joke around that you are.
Yep.
Of us two, I feel like you're more diva-ish than I am.
Yeah, I'm definitely hard-headed, and I feel like I have that. I'm always right mentality.
Yeah, you
Even
do.
though I know I'm not. I'm humbled enough to know I'm not, but it's like I have that. Usually when I get in an argument, I'm like, I didn't get in the argument if I thought I was going to lose.
Yeah,
If you're better than, I'm never going to argue with you about software. I'm going to assume you know.
yeah,
Like I'm going to assume you can beat me in that because that's what you do.
right.
Where like, but if I'm going to argue with you about like, I don't know, like maybe you're a bad example because we have so much in common, but like if I'm arguing with like a female about like baseball, you know, like someone I'm dating, I don't know. I don't know a good example, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Like
where you're
I don't
confident in what you're arguing
Yeah,
about.
I'm never going to argue with a professional nail salon person about how nails work.
Yeah,
Because I don't know. I'm going to lose. So I don't, I know I'm not right in those situations, so I just stay quiet. But I usually argue in this times where I pretty much know my stuff.
yeah.
I don't like set myself up for failure. I
makes-
hate failure.
Hey, there you go. That's
That is
another
one
thing
of my
about
quirks.
you.
I hate failure.
Yeah,
I hate to lose. I hate to failure. I don't know what that is about me, but that's something I've always had.
and it's still sticking with you.
And it always sticks with me. I
Yeah.
don't like to fail. I don't like to set myself up for fail. So that's where sometimes my work mentality I think goes in where I work hard, but I work hard at something I think I can succeed at.
But if it's something that you're not sure about, you
I
might.
try not to get involved in
So
it.
would you consider yourself more reserved unless it's something that you're confident? Like,
Yes, if I'm confident and I think I can go for it, I'm all
Yeah.
in. But if I don't think I have something I'm going to be good at, I don't really want to be involved.
right.
I'm like, no, I don't want to do that.
Now, does that ever bother you that you might be missing out on something?
Sometimes. Because
'Cause
sometimes I eventually do try those things after not trying it, and I end up enjoying it and actually being better at it than I thought.
Right.
But there are a lot of times where I'm like, I don't really want to do that because I think I'm going to suck.
Yeah.
And I don't want to suck.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But I'm definitely competitive, hard at it. I get that, like, I'm definitely, what do you call it?
You're sensitive.
No, I wasn't gonna say
I was
that.
messing
It's,
with you.
there's a word I'm looking for. Oh, shit. Like when, like, I'll, like, say, like, oh, hell, I don't know the damn word. But basically, like when okay, so hypocritical for the love of Pete. That's what
okay.
I'm very much a hypocrite. 100% a hypocrite.
Okay.
100%. I'm the dude that if I'm riding your ass, it's because you're driving too slow. But if you're riding my ass, you need to calm the fuck down.
Yep.
You know, but that's just an example. I'm like that with a lot of things. And might be why I'm single, honestly. Because I'm very good at saying, yep, I'm a hypocrite.
Yeah.
And because it ends people's arguments because they want to attack me. I'm hard to attack.
Yeah.
Unless you really know me, I think.
Yeah.
So it's like, unless you really know what to, but if you don't know me, I'm like, yeah, I'm a hypocrite. And they're like, well, that's a bad thing. I'm like, no, I don't care. Not to me.
That's who I am.
Yeah, I'm like, it's who I am. I'm very self-aware for a lot of my stuff. So I'm like,
yeah, you are.
You know, so I'm like, yeah, I'm like, so yeah, I'm a hypocrite. Okay, I'm fine with that. I've accepted that. I'm not changing that.
Right.
That's who I'm going to be. Like, that's my life.
You know what fictional character reminds me of you throughout our friendship?
What's that?
Arthur Spooner.
Oh, King
with your
Queens.
boycotts. I was thinking of your boycotts.
Boycott.
Yes.
I am very petty. I will.
You've gotten better.
I've gotten better, but I am petty. I'm like, you know, Frisch's went away from Coke to Pepsi, and I was like, nope.
Yep.
Not doing that.
Yep. That's why you remind me of Arthur.
Yeah, like, nope, boycotting that. Wendy's, when they changed their fries originally, I was like, nope, not dealing with that.
Now, I will say, based off your friend, I feel like you were more confrontational when you're younger versus as we've grown.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I've never seen you fight. So
no,
not in that regard. It's like you know how to put, kind of like your hypocritical comment. You know how to push people to where they want to sock you, and you're kind of like, do it.
Yeah, like, go ahead then. Like,
and then they never do.
In my defense for all that, and I am that way 100%. And I think a lot of the reason I've stopped doing it as I've gotten older is because I've given up on people.
Yeah.
And when I was younger, I was legitimately trying to help people.
Yeah.
Like, you're wrong, and I'm trying to make you right. Stop being an idiot. You know, like, I'm trying to teach you how to do something. Like, you're wrong, you know? Like,
right.
And then, so I'd argue with him, and I'm like, well, obviously you're never going to get it. You're just dumb. You know? Like, and I'd be offensive. I'd be like, you're dumb as ass.
Right.
And I'd push people. I'm really good at finding, like, that thing that's going to make someone mad.
Yeah.
And push them to the limit of, like you said, almost punching me in the face.
Yeah.
I've grown out of that. Part maturity, but part I'm just exhausted and people are dumb.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of my views are still the same. I just don't put the effort into people anymore.
Well, you are going to be 38 tomorrow, as far as when it comes out.
Yeah, 38, July 6th.
Yeah.
But no, and like I said, a lot of my views are still the same on that. It's just I don't have the energy.
The energy, yeah. No, I'm
not going to deal with it.
I get that with my own stuff.
I've just learned not to deal with dumb people anymore.
Right.
I'll just cut you off before I try to make,
Yeah.
Make you see the light. Yeah, I'm like, obviously you're not going to see the light, so I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm like, and I can't think of good examples, but it's like,
no.
And I'm not saying I'm always right, but I'm just like, I want people to see my point.
Yeah.
Is more so the thing. And people always think I'm arguing to be right. I'm like, I'm not always arguing to be right.
Well,
I'm sometimes arguing, I need you to see because I need my point validated, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I'm so passionate about it, I can't be that wrong. You have to at least see my angle.
Yeah.
And there's certain arguments that people have never seen my angle on. And I'm like, well, I'm still right. I'm like, well, I'm still right.
Do you think part of it's a respect thing? Like, you want them to respect your view?
I think that's a lot of it, yeah.
Like
I feel disrespected sometimes when, that's a good way. I never thought of it that way.
I just did. I'm not a psychologist.
But no, yeah, but I think, it's the disrespect of my view. I'm like, how do you not see that being a view that's capable of being...
Just hear it.
And I'm also very open-minded, though.
Yeah.
Like, I'll hear your side. I'll hear you out. I feel like, at least in my older days, maybe in my younger days I didn't as much, but now in my older days, I will hear you out for sure. Even if I think you're fully wrong.
Right.
I'll still, try to find something in your argument that's right.
Yeah.
I personally try to take something away from it out of respect to the person I'm debating with or talking to.
Yeah.
Where I think most people aren't like that. They just want to just be right.
They want to
dismiss
you.
Yeah, they want to dismiss your way. You're wrong no matter what. I'm like, how do you not see that as a possibility? In various arguments,
Yeah. And I think that's an example of a bigger problem we're seeing in this country, in this world anyways, but I think as far as your makeup, I think it's not you necessarily having to be right, but just hear my view and don't just dismiss it or dismiss me.
Yeah.
So it turns into a possible root issue of I always want respect.
Yeah, I'm not going to be disrespected by people.
Don't disrespect me. Don't hustle me. Don't try to put one over on me. Any of that stuff. So that makes sense.
And the people that bother me sometimes the most are the people that are so arrogantly wrong. Like
Yeah.
they're very arrogant about their point, but they're still wrong. I'm like, they're fucking wrong. How are they so arrogant about but that, so very, very wrong.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, so very, very wrong.
And they won't listen.
And they won't even, give you the time of day to listen. And I'm like, okay, screw you.
Yeah.
Like you have no idea what you're doing. So
Do you call them ignorant? Like the famous...
in my head, I do.
Like the famous Nick
Tuckfarber,
Tuckfarber.
ignorant ass. Yeah. Because he was one of them. I think he was doing to push my button sometimes.
He's good at that. I will give Nick the shout out on that. He's good at, like...
He was good at not, like, seeing my view at all. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, like, you're not going to give me any points, like...
Yeah.
I'm not saying you got to say I'm right, but, like, you're telling me that, like, my entire argument's not that,
It's not even valid. Like, not even
valid
it
at
can
all.
be considered.
Yeah. Like, it's out of the realm of possibility. No, it's not.
Right.
No, it's not out of the realm of possibility.
Right.
But just things like that. I mean, I don't know what else. I don't have kids.
You read my mind. Any kids or pets you want to shout out?
No, I have no kids. I do have a pet, Bentley Bag.
Bentley Bag.
He's a half lab, half Great Dane mix.
I was still in shock when I got the text from you that you got a puppy.
Yes, because I was always anti-puppy.
Yeah, you never came off as a dog person to me.
No, I was kind of scared of him as a kid.
Yeah.
So I was like, hey, I don't want a dog.
Did you have a bad experience as a kid with dogs?
Yeah, I had a babysitter that had a dog that was not like super aggressive, but like always liked to bite feet for some reason.
Okay.
And that bothered me.
I got
So
you.
I guess if I had one, that would have been it. But besides that, not really. I was just scared a lot.
Yeah.
I was just scared
Which
a
is
lot
funny
growing up.
because that's changed now.
Yeah.
I've seen that ever since we became a dog owner, that now it's the opposite.
Yeah. And as a
Bentley,
kid,
yeah.
like when I was a real young kid, I had a cat for like a little bit, but the parents got rid of it.
Yeah. Well, I met you. You had a cat.
And then when I had my apartment, I had cat. Yeah.
Yep, because I remember him trying to eat. Was it him or her?
There was two hymns.
Okay. One of the hymns kept trying to eat my Wendy's the one time I was at your house when we picked up lunch.
Was it the gray or the black one?
I want to say it was gray.
Yeah. They both liked Wendy's a lot, though. So whatever's in Wendy's, they both loved
I
Wendy's.
think it was gray. I mean, that
probably
was
the
like
gray
20
one.
years ago, but I think it was the gray one.
Yeah, there was a gray and a black one I had for a while.
Yeah, I forgot you had two.
Yep. The black one hardly came out, so you probably forgot him.
Yeah.
He was shy.
Yeah.
Those because I got those with Jessica when I moved in there. And I ended up
Okay.
inheriting the cats, if you will.
Yeah.
And only kept them until I had to move, and then I couldn't keep them, which was sad.
Yeah.
And that's when so like the gray one, he was kind of a douche, and he was a street cat anyway.
Yeah.
Like, a kitten found him on the street, but you had that street cat mentality, so I didn't, I loved him, but I didn't mind. The black one I felt bad like leaving,
Yeah.
or having to give away, And once that, like, I went through that, and I was like, I vow never to do that again. Like,
Yeah.
once I have a pet, that's forever.
Good.
Because I feel like,
That's good.
yeah, well, but I feel that now because I feel like, well, they're lost. They have no idea why, like,
Yeah.
they're not dispensable like people. I don't think they are.
I don't
Where
think-
people
you
can just
know I
get,
don't.
It blows my mind that people can just have their dog for 2-3 years and then give it away.
You're like, I don't want them anymore.
I'm like, it's like just giving your kid away.
Yeah.
And people are like, well, they're not like kids. To me, it is. Like, it's the same thing.
me, it
like,
is.
Like, to me, it's almost worse because at least the kid, you can, in English, explain to them, like,
I don't want you.
I don't want you. Yeah, like, you can, like, I can't afford you or whatever it is,
Right.
Like, you can give them something. You can say, I'm not saying it's the right thing to do either, but I'm just saying you can give them something where, like, dogs, they have no idea, or cats for that matter, pets,
Yeah.
they have no idea, like, why you're getting rid of them.
Yeah.
Hell, I'm afraid to, like, go out of town and die, and then he's going to think I ditched him.
Yep.
That's how intense I am with that stuff.
Yep.
So
No,
I'm like,
yeah.
So yeah, I got my dog that I love.
So you're a pet lover now.
I'm a pet lover now. Yeah,
Dog lover, I know for
yeah,
sure.
dog.
now.
Yeah, I like cats too enough. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like,
I like you.
I don't think
Like-
I ever have a cat again, but I like cats enough.
Yeah, I don't hate cats, but I'm not gonna have cats.
But no, and honestly, now I'm so close with my dog though. Like, when the time comes that he goes, away, I don't know that I'll ever get another one because I don't know how I'll be able to deal with that. Like when it comes to that emotional part of things.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know if I want to deal with that shit again. Why did I get involved in this?
Yeah,
like it's the
that's-
greatest thing that I've done, but on the same time, I'm like, well, shit, when that ends,
Yep.
I don't want to deal with that. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I don't know that I'm not saying I never will, but I think it'll be a while before I would.
Which I understand because I'm scared of that.
Yeah.
Especially going through it with my brother right now with
Yeah.
his.
Yep. And you got like the 2-dog scenario.
Yeah.
So yeah, but
But the point being,
I'm a dog
since I've
lover.
known you become more of a dog lover.
Yeah, I'm more of a dog lover.
Do you like long walks on the beach?
No, I
Is
don't
this a
like
dating profile?
I do not like the beach at all. Actually,
Oh,
if you want to say that, I don't like the beach. I'm more of a mountains guy. I
Okay.
like cold weather.
It's a little thing about
Yeah.
you. I realized.
Born in the summer, yet don't like the summer.
and you don't like to swim.
Don't like to swim at all.
I was gonna say I like being in the pool. I don't swim per se, but I like
Not
being
a
in
fan.
the pool.
No, hot tubs I'm good with. I
Yeah.
like hot tubs, but again, probably because it's cold outside and I'm in the hot water. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, pools. I wouldn't say I hate them, but I don't see the point.
I swam with you once in our 20 years, and
I
it was at my apartment building,
Yeah.
and it was when you're married.
I don't like them enough to deal with it. You
Yeah.
know, to own one, and I just don't like people enough to be around people. At least that night was fine because it was just like 3 of us and we all knew each other.
Yeah.
There's no one else.
We
but
had the whole pool.
Yeah, the whole pool to ourselves. Yeah, but when it's like a public pool where other people might be, no.
Yeah.
Do I want to really put the effort into like keeping care of a pool? No, because I'm not going to use it that much.
Yeah, makes sense.
In the summer, I'm inside with my air conditioning. That's it. That's what I want to be. I want to be inside with my AC. So I'm more of, if I ever to vacation or move somewhere, it'd be mountains.
Yeah.
You know, where the cold. I like fall, I like winter.
Yeah.
You know,
I feel you there.
I'm not a big people person. I used to be.
Yeah.
I think working in retail for a long time has jaded that, where like it's almost the point where I'm like, I get paid to be a people person. So if I ain't getting paid to be a people person, I'm not me. I'm
not gonna do it.
I'm not a people person. Yeah.
I understand that.
So, but no, I mean, I've had various, like you said, hobbies, more like bowling, this and that, doing the podcast thing now, which I enjoy.
Yeah, new hobby.
Yeah. I like movies, stuff like that. I mean, you know,
Favorite sports teams, go.
Reds, Bengals, Bearcats basketball, Ohio State football, Yankees, Lakers. Who am I missing? Cowboys are pretty good.
Yeah, so did you say the Cowboys? I
Yeah.
already forget. That was our big thing, at least early on, when we had more of our second, like our favorite NFC teams. And I always remind you every Thanksgiving about when Randy Moss torched you guys his rookie year.
Yeah,
But
you have one moment to go on.
Hey, I'll go with it.
But yeah, and I guess technically I did live in Irving, Texas for like 2 months when I was like 3.
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember that.
Fun fact.
Yeah, I don't remember that, but that's a fun fact. Came back with a Cowboys jacket. I do remember that.
Right.
So,
Coke or Pepsi?
oh, Coke for sure.
Figured.
Yeah,
Or I
Coke.
knew that, I should say.
Coke for sure. It's called pop, by the way, for anybody that thinks it's not called pop. It's definitely not soda.
Yeah.
That's where you're wrong.
Remember, listen to
That's
his
where
opinion.
That's where I won't listen to reason.
You're a hypocrite.
I am 100%
See?
a hypocrite. It is pop.
It comes around.
So, but I can't think of what else. I mean, that's just a small insight. I'm sure there could have been more I touched on, but
Flats or legs for wings?
both.
There you go, my man.
I don't really care. I'm not. Yeah, I literally like both. You know.
Yeah, I like
that
the I like the mixture.
So yeah. But no, there's not a lot to go on. I think that's really about it.
Yeah. So
You
you
know?
ready for another year? Chapter 38.
I guess so. Yeah. Trying to count down to retirement.
Yeah.
17 years is my goal.
Yeah.
That is one thing about me. I want to retire at 55 if possible.
Yeah.
I was talking to one of my buddy, Adam.
Yeah.
Burnsy, and it's a mixture of living in the now and living in for the future.
Yeah.
You know, it's a mixture of both. So
When did you get so mature? You're growing up in front of my eyes, man.
probably about 8 months ago.
That sounds about right.
Really, it was when it came to like retirement and all the financials.
Was it the pandemic?
It didn't have anything to do with the pandemic, but it was I don't know, man. It was like, I want to say it was like August of like 2020,
Yeah.
something like that. Maybe 2019. It was the end of the year. Probably 20. Well,
I think it's I feel like
might
it
have
was
been 2020. I feel like it was
I don't think we
2020.
talked about this stuff previous.
No, so it's probably like August 2020-ish. I think it was all because I got like a letter in the mail from Target saying I had a pension,
Oh, I remember you texted me about that.
which I never have figured that part out yet, oddly
Yeah.
enough. But I was like, you know what? I better start looking at this crap a little more.
Yeah.
See where my 401k is. I haven't looked at it in like 8 years. You know,
Yeah.
like
See, oh, here it is.
yeah. So I started looking stuff up and then start investing, and I'm big into investing now.
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't say I'm good at it per se, but I'm learning.
It's something you're getting into.
And it's something I'm getting into, yeah, because I really want to retire early, so that's my big push.
It's like your new phase of your life, so it is
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, I mean, I went through my 20s and spent money, and I was always living in the now.
Yes.
You know, end of the month, I was broke, got another paycheck, lived it up. End of the month, I was broke again.
Oh, it's funny you said that, 'cause back to our bowling days even. I remember sometimes towards the end of the month, you're like, we can't can't go out to eat tonight.
Because I'm broke.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm waiting to get paid. I'm like, all right.
Yep, and it's not because I didn't make enough money. I just spent so much money.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
I would just spend so much money on nonsense. And like I said, I had my 401k still then, but that was just automatic. You know, so
Yeah.
I didn't do any extra investments, which I do now. I have like a taxable brokerage. savings account that I never had, you know, honestly.
Right.
You know, I didn't even have as simple as a savings account. I just had a checking account. One in, one out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Money came in, money went out. That was it.
Yeah.
You know, so
so you've really gotten into the stock market, investing. Even you've been into business the last few years, because we have talked about that.
Yeah, that's one of my newer likes. Yeah, is just in businesses in general. Just reading about them. You know, Taco Bell's doing this, or this is the direction Apple's going, or things like that. I like to read on. I'm not well versed.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say any of that. I'm not necessarily
just interested. You're a curious guy.
Yeah, I'm curious. I can probably give you some financial advice if you want it, but I always asterisk with I really don't know what the hell I'm doing though.
But you can listen here is.
But I can tell you where I've been and what I've done in the past 8 months or so.
Yeah.
You know.
So you can start with your financial advice as something to go off and look into yourself.
Yeah.
Just don't go off as fancy football advice.
Hey, I've won chips. I've won some chips.
Yeah, I had that in there.
But yeah, no, I like investing and stuff like that. So I just want to retire early.
Yeah. Well, I don't blame you, because
pay my home off if I can soon.
Try to get done with all the people.
Yeah, pay my house off soon. Things you're trying to be done with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, still I like vacationing. Obviously we go, I would like to go to a new city every year.
Yeah.
I was just talking to Adam about that. That's one of my goals. Of course, that started with the pandemic. That screwed that up last year.
Oh man, yeah.
Because we were supposed to go out of town.
Yep.
Like I said, luckily we found Hocking Hills to go to now, though.
Yeah, we made it.
That's kind of cool.
Just a getaway.
Somewhere to bring the dogs and hang out with friends and everything.
Yeah,
so.
play some games. Let's drink football season, watch football.
Yep.
Eastbound and Down.
Yep. Eastbound and Down, which I still want to finish that.
Yeah, but like you said, bringing the dogs. Yeah, that was nice.
And then New York City this year will be cool, because that's what we were supposed to do last year.
Yep.
And then next year come up with a new city.
Yeah.
I'd like to come up with at least a new city, at least see the country, if nothing else.
Yeah.
And that's part of why I want to retire early, too, because then I want to be able to see, the world more.
Yeah.
And still be young enough to, do it.
And move around.
And do things. Hopefully, at least,
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know where I'll be.
You have that whack knee.
Yeah. I mean, you hope that you're in good enough shape at 55 to still do that stuff, So, that's the goal, though. Awesomely, that's my end game kind of goal right now. Will it happen? I don't know, but I'm going to give it one hell of a go. And my biggest confidence of not worrying about losing my money is that I was spending it anyway.
Yeah.
So I may as well invest it, and if I lose it, I lose it, because I was spending it anyway.
Yeah,
I still have my 401k to fall on, but I think I'm doing it smart enough where I'll come out with something. It might just not be as much as I thought / wanted.
Yeah.
Is all. But we're about at 1 hour and 6 minutes, so I guess probably.
Oh my gosh, that's too much Brian Bay for me.
I know. I guess time to wrap up, and we got some guests coming up here on some episodes coming up.
Yeah,
so
I'm looking forward to that.
That'll be fun.
Different topics, starting to have some guests on the show. Yeah, we're
But move forward. Oh, one shout out. I would like to thank all of our listeners. We hit over 300 listens. On a traditional platforms.
Yeah, thank you.
So we broke the 300 listens mark. So and 300 plays.
We appreciate you guys going through the growing pains with us as well. Neither of us have any experience whatsoever in any type of audio, video.
No, we're just winging it.
We're truly winging it from the bottom, and it's been an enjoyable journey so far, and it's kind of cool seeing it come together now. See how far we've come, but good shout out. Appreciate the input and the support.
Yeah, and like I said, any suggestions on episodes, let us know on our socials.
Yeah, let us know there or wherever you want. Hell, at this rate, send a smoke signal. I don't care.
Yeah, whatever you
let us know.
But all right, I guess we're done.
Yeah, I think we're done. Here's the chapter 38, homie.
Yep.